His Excellency Moon Chun, Standing Deputy Prime Minister and Minister in charge of the Office of the Council of Ministers. Professor Dr. Park In-guk, President of Che Institute for Advanced Studies. His Excellency Academician Sok Duit, President of the Royal Academy of Cambodia. His Excellency Dr. Keik Piriak, Director of Asia Research Center of the Royal Academy of Cambodia. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to extend my heartfelt congratulations upon the convening of today's conference on new context of ASEAN-Korea relations being held in the new building of Royal Academy of Cambodia. Over the past 30 years since the establishment of the dialogue relations between ASEAN and Korea in November 1989, ASEAN and Korea have seen a rapid strengthening of relations and have made remarkable achievement in various fields of cooperation. People-to-people exchange increased by more than 40 times, investment by 70 times. As Professor Park In-guk mentioned, Korea has now emerged as ASEAN's fourth largest trading partner, while ASEAN has become Korea's second largest counterpart. Faced with the challenges posed by COVID-19, Korea has made great efforts in tackling the pandemic together with ASEAN. In order to help ASEAN region overcome the crisis, Korea has provided $1 million to the ASEAN Response Fund and is committed to provide additional $5 million by next year. Moreover, Korea will make a contribution of $200 million to COVAX AMC next year so that these funds will be adequately allocated to provide the necessary vaccine to ASEAN countries. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, in response to the ever-rising importance of solidarity and cooperation highlighted by the pandemic, Korea has upgraded the New Southern Policy to the New Southern Policy Plus. The newly arranged classification of 7 priority areas and specification of various projects goes to show Korea's firm will to strengthen close cooperation with ASEAN and suggest the way forward for our future partnership. On the occasion of this important seminar, I would like to reiterate 3 commitments on behalf of the Korean government. First, in line with the 7 priority areas highlighted in the New Southern Policy Plus, Korea will continue to strengthen cooperation with ASEAN to create a people-centered community of peace and prosperity in the region. In the area of people, Korea will enhance further cooperation with ASEAN in the field of health. On the occasion of the 22nd ASEAN-Korea Summit held last month, President Moon Jae-in proposed the ASEAN-Korea Initiative for Public Health and Vaccines for the purpose of expanding production capacity for vaccines and treatment as well as their equitable distribution. The ASEAN-Korea Health Ministers meeting to be launched early next year will serve as a platform for concrete discussion on how to materialize this initiative with a view to strengthening public health system in ASEAN. In terms of mutual prosperity, Korea will accelerate our internal procedures so that the recently signed Cambodia-Korea FTA and newly concluded Philippine-Korea FTA could enter into force as early as possible. Together with the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, RCEP, which will come into effect on January 1st next year. This arrangement will contribute to further increase in bilateral trade, investment, and people-to-people exchanges between ASEAN and Korea. In order to create a community of peace, Korea will enhance non-traditional security cooperation with ASEAN in such areas as the climate change, disaster management, and mine action. The recently launched ASEAN-Korea Dialogue on Environment and Climate Change and the ASEAN-Korean Ministers' Meeting on Disaster Management to be established next year will serve as a platform for collectively response to these non-traditional security challenges. Korea also seeks to continue assisting ASEAN's mine action through bilateral channels as well as multilateral channels such as RMAC. Second, Korea will put Mekong-RK sub-regional cooperation on the front burner in order to narrow development gap among ASEAN countries. On the occasion of the Mekong-RK Foreign Ministers meeting co-hosted by Korea and Cambodia, ministers of our 6 countries decided to extend Mekong-RK exchange year to year 2022. Korean government takes on a great deal of importance on Mekong-RK sub-regional cooperation, considering its ever-growing potential with its phenomenal economic development of annual 7% per year. As we celebrate the Mekong-RK exchange year in 2021 and 2022, Korea will further advance needs-based cooperation in the region by contributing $4 million into the Mekong-RK Cooperation Fund this year. Along with ASEAN-RK relations, Korea will carry on efforts to foster Mekong-RK cooperation with hopes that it will lead to the success of the 3rd Mekong-RK Summit next year. 2022 marks the 25th anniversary of the re-establishment of diplomatic relations between Cambodia and Korea. Through active high-level dialogue exchange next year, I hope that Korea could create a win-win cooperation with Cambodia as chair of ASEAN towards building a people-centered community of peace and prosperity in the region. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I strongly hope that today's conference will provide a fresh impetus in setting the way forward for our future cooperation. As a true friend of ASEAN, Korea will continue to work together with ASEAN in preparation for a better and brighter future in our region and beyond. Thank you very much.